You ever notice how some people in the graphic design industry act like success is a secret handshake? Like there's a VIP door somewhere, but nobody will tell you where it is. Today, we're talking to somebody who's found that door, and they've kicked it wide open. This is Tony Bowe, junior art director at Leo Burnett, but more importantly, the creator of the Creative Cheat Sheet, a project that's blowing up because it does exactly what the industry refuses to do. It gives young designers the exact tools, links, and resources people usually hide. We're talking student award shows no one tells you about, portfolio examples, free tutorials, strategy links, everything people say you should know, but never actually share. This is about stealing the playbook back and putting it in the hands of every designer who wasn't in the room. So if you've ever felt locked out, overlooked, or gatekept in this industry, this one is for you. But before we get into it, I'm Ziggy the Designer. I'm a graphic designer who's worked alongside some of the world's most recognizable brands, including United Airlines, Target, and Stanford University. If you like the conversations we're having on this show, be sure to support the channel by giving this episode a like, leaving a comment below, and of course, by subscribing. Let's get into it. Tony Bowe, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you again for taking time to be on this show.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it means a ton. Well, let's just dive right into it then, huh? So, Tony, for people who might not know you, how do you describe what it is you do in the creative industry?
So yeah, I'm Tony. I'm a junior art director at Leo Burnett in Chicago. I went to BYU and studied in their advertising program and was able to work on a lot of really fun, crazy projects, really stretch myself creatively. And so yeah, now as like a full-time art director, like my job is two things. It's one, coming up with ideas, which I knew I would be doing in the agency world, but I found that the bigger and harder part of my job is just convincing people that those ideas are going to work. So it's not just being creative, it's not just being a good designer, but it's really learning how to sell your work and to like convince the right people that your ideas are going to work. So that's been definitely like a new creative challenge to tackle, but it's been a ton of fun, and it really forces me to like think on my feet and to be able to not get too attached to ideas and just keep building creatively. So yeah.
Love that. And yeah, you do wear a lot of different hats in this industry, you know, as you mentioned, design, art direction, and, you know, even into some community building, which we're going to get into. Which of those identities do you feel most at home in right now?
I feel like I definitely hesitate to call myself any of those things, just like, because I'm so young in my career. The imposter syndrome is still wearing off, but I think like more than anything, I just want to be a force for good in this industry. I think there's so much opportunity in advertising and in design, not just individually, but like as a group creatively to like really meet awesome people and to get better and work together. And just to build good relationships with other creatives. So yeah, right now my two main goals are to be as helpful as possible and to learn as much as possible from the people above me. And then maybe people who are still in school or are about to start their career soon, being as much as of a resource as I can for them to help them as they grow in their career. So right now it's just all about building good relationships and trying to just be a force for good.
Yeah, we talk about creating relationships and we talk about the industry, and one of the biggest conversations happening right now in the industry is about the culture of gatekeeping. How do you personally define gatekeeping in the context of the creative world?
I feel like the most obvious form of gatekeeping is just having some method or resource or practice that makes your job a little easier or makes your work a little better, and just not being willing to share it with other people, which I think is just like the dumbest thing in the world. Like over my last few internships and in my experience at BYU, I've met a lot of awesome people who are very, very willing to share with me some of their tips and tricks and resources they use and how they come up with ideas and how they make designs just a little bit better, like how to add just that finishing touch to things to really like up my level of craft. And so I think if people aren't willing to share, then no one's going to get better. And so I think for me, yeah, creative gatekeeping, it's not just damaging like the next generation of creatives, but like it just creates this attitude of competition when I think like creativity is a team sport, you know what I mean? Like you look at an NBA team, they're not like, oh yeah, this is my like fitness routine. I'm not going to tell this other guy. Like a team of creatives should be pushing each other to get better and sharing those resources. And so that's something that I feel very, very strongly about.
Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like you found your stance on gatekeeping in the creative world, and it sounds like you've also found your way to sort of combat that through your own experiences. But in your experience, who tends to get gatekept the hardest?
I think definitely like the next generation of creatives are not really always given the opportunities and resources that they need. Like if you think about it, there's so many like simple tricks and tools out there that a lot of like these older creatives use. Little like formulas they use to come up with ideas or to build a deck or things like that. And so I think if we want like good creative work to continue, then we need to be like willing to share things with young people like me. I guess this is just me like telling the older generation like we're not here to like take your job or anything. We just want to get better creatively and learn from the best, and that'll just make all of us better.
I feel you 100% on that. I feel like I'm bridging that gap between junior level and mid-level designer. And even now I still feel a little bit of that hesitation coming from the director level creatives. And there is this vibe right now in the creative world that, it's full of closed doors. How fair do you think that is?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of closed doors. And this might sound cheesy, but I don't think the doors are like locked per se, but they're not like very easy to find. Like if you, for example, like student award shows for advertising and design, like there are like 5 or 6 or 7 I can think of off the top of my head that are able to like provide really awesome opportunities for students. But there are like hundreds of colleges around the country with really talented designers and art directors and writers, and they don't even know that these competitions exist. And a lot of them are free to enter. Like you think about like D&AD or Young Ones or even like the Crowbar Awards from Breaking and Entering or like Young Shits. Like these are real opportunities to like get your work in front of really talented creatives at huge agencies and big companies. And I think there's just a lot of young creatives around the world who don't even know that that's like a possibility for them. I mean, there are college kids in advertising programs right now who don't even know they should be building a portfolio. Like I'll chat with people on LinkedIn who are like, oh yeah, I'm studying creative advertising and I'm in my final semester and I don't really have a book. Like I don't have projects to show for it. And so I think like we just need to like help the next generation realize that these opportunities are there if you're willing to look for them. And I just think we're not doing a great job of like sharing those opportunities with the next generation.
Yeah, so we talk about gatekeeping. It seems like you found actually a good solution for it. Let's talk about your latest project, and what many are feeling is the first step in solving this culture of gatekeeping. That's the creative cheat sheet. How would you describe the creative cheat sheet, and what makes this such an important resource?
So the creative cheat sheet, it's a compilation of dozens of resources and tools that I found helpful over the last few years. It's got design stuff, it's got stuff about AI, it's got books and newsletters and podcasts, links to award shows like I talked about, links to the top designers and ad students in the world so you can check out their portfolios and you can learn from them. Free photos, free music, free fonts, just like everything that a young creative trying to get a career in this industry could possibly want in one place. I realized I had access to all of these things and I had knowledge of it, but like we talked about previously, there's a lot of people who just don't know that these things are out there. So I just decided to, throw it all in one place. And I think what really makes it important is that, like you were saying earlier, it's sort of ungatekeeping the creative industry. A big point of my website is that I'd say 90% of the stuff on there is free. There's award shows you can enter for free. There are free websites to literally meet creative directors at like the greatest agencies in the world and just have conversations with them. There are like free archives of the best design projects in history that you can learn from. And so a lot of this stuff is out there and it's free and it's really easy to like upskill and to learn more about the creative industry. But people just don't know about it. And so now it's all in one place for people.
Yeah, how has the response been so far from the community? Because you launched this a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
Walk us through that moment where you first thought, yeah, this is actually helping people.
Yeah, the response was way bigger than I expected. It was literally insane. Got like 250,000 impressions, I think, on LinkedIn. I got like 200 connection requests and like probably 50 or 60 messages from people of all different backgrounds at all different points in their careers, just with suggestions and more resources to add. And a lot of people just saying that it's something they wish they had when they first started. I heard from some like first year college students who were saying like, hey, I really wanted to build a creative career, but I didn't know what in. And now I think I have some sense of direction of what I want to do. I've been able to talk to like creative directors at some really big agencies that I don't think those conversations would have happened if I didn't put this out into the world. It's led to interviews like this too, which is obviously crazy, not what I expected out of it at all. But yeah, like once those messages started rolling in, I realized like I was actually helping people and that people would actually apply this to the careers and to their schooling. And so, if it just helps one person, then I think it was totally worth it.
I love that. A lot of people, especially when it comes to gatekeeping, they talk about tearing down the walls, taking the gates down, but few are actually building resources like this. What has been the toughest part, the most challenging part of getting this website, getting this resource off the ground?
I'd say the hardest part was getting over the imposter syndrome and just building up the courage to post it and feeling like I had the right to share it. Like being so young in my career, I think, oh, am I really qualified to put something like this together? I'm probably missing 100 things. People are going to go through this and be like, I already knew all this stuff. So I had to just kind of put away those voices in my head. And just be willing to put out in the world. I spent like 2 days drafting the copy for my LinkedIn posts and like running it by people like, hey, does this sound okay? Should I phrase it like this? But ultimately I realized, like I said earlier, if it helps one person, then it wasn't a waste of time. And then, funny enough, I had to like upgrade my website builder subscription because it was like, yeah, you've hit way too many views. You have to get the next possible plan. So it got like 25 or 30,000 views pretty quickly. So I know that it was definitely helping more than one person. So, once I realized I was helping people, the imposter syndrome started to fade away a little bit. And I'm just glad that it's helping people.
I didn't know the numbers, Tony. Those are impressive numbers. Congrats.
Thank you.
So then how are you thinking about growing it? I mean, I know people have already asked you to add things and they've told you that it's been really helpful. Do you see this growing beyond a single website? Do you see this growing beyond like a digital platform even?
I think like the most obvious way I'm going to be growing it is it's both a blessing and a curse. I'm going to be adding stuff to it for the rest of my life, probably. I've gotten like probably 50 new things that I need to add that are going to be put on the website pretty soon. So yeah, like the obvious way I'm going to build it is just keep adding things, add different sections, especially when it comes to things like strategy and social media, and maybe some things that aren't more my forte, but that a lot of other people want to learn about and get better at. There's going to be some sections like that added to the website soon. And then, yeah, it'll probably always just be like a single website, unless I get some new idea that could help it reach more people.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely helped me.
I'm glad to hear that.
As you're someone who's broken through the noise of the creative world. What's your message to a younger designer out there who feels completely locked out of the industry right now?
Yeah, I'd say like for any young creative who wants to like build a career creatively or to get better at any specific skill, it's just you don't need permission or approval from anybody. I didn't like need to ask anyone if I could build this. I just made something that I liked and I thought was fun and I shared it with people. Like if someone's listening to this and they want to get better at graphic design or they want to learn to make a font or to make sports graphics, or to design packaging for products, and it's something they've never done before, you don't have to like wait for someone to call you and pay you to do it. Like you can just do it. Like there's so many resources out there. Just make something you like, learn a new skill and share it with people and see how they react. You know, you'll get good feedback, you'll get bad feedback, but at the end of the day, you made something, and that's better than not making something. And then going off of that, like you can be just as good as anybody else with enough effort. I really strongly believe that. There's no like secret sauce or magic to being a great creative or a great designer. Like the door is wide open if you're willing to put in the work and to really just apply yourself. And so, yeah, like if you're young and you're trying to break into the industry and you feel like you're not getting anywhere, just keep with it and keep making stuff. Because at the end of the day, like you're going to make something that's going to catch someone's attention, and you're going to find opportunities that come out of it.
I love that message, Tony. Last question here, and we'll wrap it up. You have so much momentum from the creative cheat sheet. You're essentially a viral sensation on the creative side of LinkedIn. What else are you working on? What else do you want people to know about you as a creative?
Yeah. I know like the next obvious thing seems like turning it into a podcast or a newsletter or something. But let's be real, I'm subscribed to like 10 newsletters and they're all great, but I'm not reading them. I'm skimming them. So like I don't want to just make something for the sake of making something if I think it's not going to help people. But if I can think of something that's going to be genuinely helpful for people, I'll do it in a heartbeat. It might be some kind of like video content similar to what you do. But I'm not exactly sure what the next step is, but I'm sure that, you know, I'll think of something, and if I'm helping people, then, you know, that's all that matters.
Great message, Tony. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Big shout out to Tony for not just talking about change, but building something real for it. Here's the thing. We can't keep complaining about closed doors if we're not willing to hand each other the keys to open them. Gatekeeping dies when designers and creatives choose to share. So if you found value in this episode, don't just scroll on to the next video, pass this on, send it to a student, drop it as a resource in a group chat, become part of the solution. And hey, if you've got your own cheat sheet, toolkit, or secret link that you think more designers should know, drop it in the comments below, send it, expose it, because the future of this industry doesn't belong to the people who guard the ladder. It belongs to the ones building more of them. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. That's all I have for you. Be sure to support the show by giving this episode a like, subscribing, and of course by sharing this one out. I've been Ziggy the Designer. If there are 2 things you need to know about me, it's 1, I love design. And 2, I'm very opinionated. I'll talk with y'all later. Bye-bye.